one sort of unintentional sin is I do something that I don't realize is forbidden by the Torah, right? That's an unintentional sin. Or there's another scenario where I know that's forbidden by the Torah, but I don't realize I'm doing it, right? And let's take for the example, I didn't have a Torah education and I didn't realize it's forbidden to eat shrimp. And so I'm eating shrimp and somebody says, wait, you're not allowed to eat that shrimp, it's forbidden in the Torah. Okay, that's unintentional sin. Another scenario is I know shrimp is forbidden and I'm eating something and I think it's
somebody offers
whitefish or something, and I find out later, oh, they mixed in some shrimp in there. Right? So those are two types of unintentional sin. That's what Numbers is talking about here. And in that situation, you need to bring a certain types of sacrifice, sin offerings. Let's read verse 25. It says, the priest shall make an atonement for all the congregation of the children of Israel, and it shall be forgiven for them, for it is ignorance. And the Hebrew doesn't say ignorance. It says shgaga, which is unintentional sin or accident. And they shall bring their offering, a sacrifice made by fire unto Yehovah, and their sin offering before Yehovah for their ignorance, again, their unintentional sin. And it shall be forgiven all the congregation of the children of Israel and the stranger that sojourns among them, seeing all the people were in ignorance or they acted bishgaga, that is, with unintentional. And it says, now here's the key. And if any soul through ignorance, then he shall bring a she-goat. So in other words, now it's the individual before it was the congregation. We'll skip ahead, same thing. Basically, you bring the sacrifice. Verse 30 to 31 is the key.
Got it.
But the soul that does anything presumptuously,
what does presumptuous
whether he be born, and in the Hebrew it says bayad ramah, with a high hand.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
God, I know it's forbidden to eat shrimp. I know you forbade that. And I know this is shrimp, and I'm still going to do it because I don't care what you have to say, God.
Okay.
That's bayad ramah, with a high hand. So anyone who does anything with a high hand, whether he be born in the land or a stranger, the same reproaches Yehovah. That is, that person, he is blaspheming, is literally what it could be translated, or he's cursing God through his act. That soul should be cut off from his people, because he has despised the word of Yehovah and has broken his commandment. That soul shall utterly be cut off, his iniquity shall be upon him. So if you do something intentionally, where you know it's a sin and you just don't care, you're doing it with bayad ramah, and I'm going to get back to just don't care, because I want to be careful here of what it says. The sacrifice doesn't help you. Now, there is a difference between two different types of things that are not accidental. And Yad Ramah, I don't think applies to both of them. One of them is, yeah, I know it's a sin and I just don't care because I don't care what God has to say.
Yeah.
The other is, in a moment of weakness, I do something I know I'm not supposed to do. And I once had this conversation with my father. And I said, my father was an Orthodox rabbi, and I said to him, I said, there are certain people in your congregation who you know they sin. You have adulterers in your congregation. And, they were caught in adultery, and they still come to your congregation. Why do you treat them differently than people who choose a certain lifestyle that is a sinful lifestyle? And my father, I'll never forget this, because he was quoting Yeshua.
How old were you when you asked this question?
I don't remember. But I knew he was, I think I was an adult.
Okay, I was like, goodness gracious.
Because I knew he was quoting Yeshua without realizing it was Yeshua. My father said, the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. And I'm like, he has no idea he's quoting the New Testament. But his point was, and it's a profound point, I think. He's 100% right. I think that's what Yad Ramah means. There's a difference between I sin in a moment of weakness, or I sin because I'm weak, versus I sin and I declare what I'm doing to be righteous. That's what Yad Ramah is. Yad Ramah is, I'm sinning, and you know what? God has to accept what I do, and so do you. That's Yad Ramah, to do something with a high hand. That's what God says here. That's not going to be forgiven. That's not going to be forgiven unless there's genuine repentance